Okay. As you can see, Another LA podcast has a new setup. But today we're not here to talk about that. Today we're talk about the fire that's happening in Los Angeles currently. What's today's date, fellas? Give me the runtime. What's today's date?
Today is
The 12th.
Yeah,
The 12th.
yeah, January 12th. We're recording this, so we've had 5 days of fire now.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah.
About half a dozen fires. Obviously, the worst ones are the Eaton fire up in Pasadena and Altadena, and then the Palisades fire that is just absolutely rampaging the Pacific Palisades.
So we decided it would be ludicrous if we didn't talk about it and discuss it because we are called Another LA Podcast. Obviously, we film in LA. I've been in LA about 12 years, so this is my home. So, of course, had to talk about it. Fred, what are your thoughts on it? You're kind of quiet there, buddy.
No, I mean, I grew up in LA, so this is all I know. And I've been through the earthquakes. I mean, there's nothing like this. They're calling this the Katrina of like hurricanes, I guess you can say, in LA.
Who's they?
The news. Like, this is
News
so
media.
catastrophic that is like compared to Katrina in New Orleans. Is it
Gotcha.
New Orleans that happened?
I believe so.
New Orleans, yeah.
But you can Google and
Yeah,
fact check
I
that.
think it's New Orleans. But yeah,
you know.
so this is like just like next level stuff that you've never seen. And as of right now, as we're filming this on a Saturday, the winds are calm. Everything's chill right now. The fires are like 15% contained in Eaton Canyon and I think 11 in Pacific Palisades. But the Santa Ana winds are coming back again.
Yep.
I think tomorrow and Tuesday they're supposed to be the strongest. So now we're going to be in another red flag alerts. Where we're at in the Arts District, we are pretty safe over here, thank God, because the most that we've had is bad air quality.
Yeah.
We're not around. It's people who live around the mountainsides. Those are the ones that have been most affected. We're luckily we don't live in that area, so we've been fine over here, thank God. So I don't see any problems being over here. I don't think so. I hope not. It would have to be. I don't know.
It would have to be almost catastrophic. I feel like for the fires that are currently going to reach us down here.
Yeah.
We're like super lucky. We've been out of it all.
What are the mountains?
Quality.
So if you look outside, where are they at?
Can't really see mountains here in downtown LA. Not really.
No. You can see outside on Alameda.
To the north.
north.
What mountains are those?
The North remembers.
I don't know the name of the mountains, but I know that those are the ones that are essentially up north of.
Is that San Gabriel
Pasadena
Valley
and Altadena?
So that's that, like San Gabriel Valley and stuff like that.
I'm not.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know.
I'm the newest LA resident. I'm a transplant, so I'm still figuring out the lay of the land out here.
Yeah, I'm literally like when I'm driving today, like I went to Alhambra to go to Costco to pick up supplies. And then we have a local donation center here in the Arts District, which is the Arts District Brewery. So I drop stuff off over there. But as I'm driving, a lot of mountain hills, a lot of stuff like that. So I'm constantly looking for anything.
Yeah.
Because now it's just like, I would see, maybe a couple months ago, I'll be on my balcony and I can look outside. Oh, there's smoke. There's a little fire going on in downtown LA. Okay, cool. No big deal. It's gone. Now, you see any type of smoke, you're like, okay, what's going on now? Even today, this morning, I went to go charge Cindy's Tesla at the Row. And 5th floor is only Teslas, no one else. As soon as I get up there, I see this truck in the corner. And I'm like, what is this? I could have sworn, like my eyesight's not the best, a gas can thing. It's an open bed truck.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, is that a gas can in the back of his thing? And I'm sitting there like charging the car and I'm like, should I call somebody right now? And so then when I got home, I called the Row and I told them, I said, hey, I want to check on this because, you got these people that are starting fires anywhere. So it's not necessarily the wind anymore at this point. It's people actually doing the arson, themselves.
Yeah, I have seen a number of reports from KTLA or whichever news outlet that it might be that there's absolutely people out there that are trying to add to the destruction and the disaster that we're currently experiencing in Southern California by like going and starting additional fires.
Yeah.
And then on top of that you've got
looting
neighborhoods. Yeah,
looting.
exactly.
So they've activated the National Guard to help with that.
Yeah.
To help stop the looting. Yeah, I think pretty much a scumbag. if you're going through and looting through someone's burnt house, yeah, you need to get a job.
Yeah. Well,
Like McDonald's is
it's,
hiring or something.
it's insane to me because it's a neighborhood gets evacuated, and then certain people cruise in before the fires hit, and they know that nobody's going to be home, and they go through and take what they can and then get out of there. But
Yeah.
no, it's been insane, and I know Fred mentioned his donating to the Arts District Brewery and whatnot. I've donated to the Pasadena Humane Society. They're absolutely at capacity with fostering animals and taking anything in that they can. So there's all of these different entities and people and businesses that are doing really great things right now as well, and that's been super cool to see. Like, I feel like this whole place of LA, it's so big, it's so spread out, there's so many people, but this disaster has really kind of brought a lot of people together.
It has.
And you've got restaurants doing free meals for people who lost their homes, or for firefighters and first responders. You've got all these different places like a brewery popping up to accept donations and make sure that they get to the right place. So that's kind of what I've been trying to focus on a little bit more this last week, I think, is just seeing kind of how it's bringing people together in a certain way.
As it should. I mean, and myself, I donated to my local church. That's going to be Fearless LA in downtown LA, Fearless LA Church. Check them out. I dropped off donations there and did a little volunteering this past weekend. I just want to say, when it comes to donating and wanting to give back, make sure you do some research on who you're giving back to, because unfortunately, there are opportunists. So even if you're donating to a GoFundMe page, I would advise donate to someone's GoFundMe page who maybe a family friend or a friend of a friend. And if you're going to take donations and drop them off, look at who's doing it. Look at your local church, look at your local restaurants or supermarkets or wherever, and take things people need. People need toiletries, people need clothing, people need just day-to-day stuff that you wouldn't even really think about. Losing everything sucks. I mean, when I was in high school, I lost everything. Not because of a fire, though, but because of some other issue. But in high school, I literally lost everything. I lost all my clothes, all my sneakers. I lost everything I had, and I had to start again from scratch, which sucked. So I can only imagine what it's like losing your house and your livelihood. On the news, I saw one guy, he just bought a whole bunch of, I guess he is a handyman or some type of construction worker, and he bought a whole bunch of tools, and those tools got burnt up. And he just got all that, which sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, and then another thing too is, it's crazy how social media. Did you see about Santa Anita?
Santa Anita Park?
Santa Anita racetrack?
Started out with the guy with the hot dog carts.
Started at the Rose Bowl, and then they had to move
Okay.
them because they needed it for the fire trucks. And then it started out with the guy giving away free hot dogs, and it turned. I don't even know if these people knew each other. I think they just happened to be at the same place, and it turned into a huge thing to where Santa Anita gave them half the parking lot for this, and then they end up giving them the whole parking lot, and they're there.
It's a whole thing
every day. I think from 9 until 11 at night or something.
Yeah.
So and they got and there are a lot of people, I think, at this point, because there's been so many donations, are okay, they're capping off now. Hey, we have way too much of this now.
I think they're capped off on clothes. I've seen a lot of places that said,
clothes.
hey, we have enough clothes.
Yeah.
A lot of places said, hey, we have enough clothes.
You can never have enough water, though.
So that made me think, how much crap do people have in LA where all the organizations say, look, we don't need any more clothes from anybody. We need no more clothes. We just need
Oh, I mean, I'm sure
water.
I'm
need
sure that
toothbrushes.
people are using it as a chance to clean out their closet to a
They
certain
are.
degree, right?
They are,
we'll take this stuff and donate it.
I just did that on the New Year. Me and Cindy, we said, okay, let's clean out the closet, go fresh. And so I usually go. There's a Goodwill in North Hollywood.
Yeah.
That I would always drop myself off at, and I didn't even have bags. I just, I called them. I said, can you guys take this without bags? They're like, yeah, it's fine. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I went over there. Turns out they're closed because they have too much stuff. But there happened to be a guy who happened to just walk up. I don't know. I was like, does he work here? Who is this guy? And I told him, I said, yeah, I got a bunch of clothes. And he goes, yeah, me and my wife will take it. They actually were living in their car
Oh, wow.
right there at the Goodwill.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I said, I have women's clothes and I have men's clothes. If you can have them all.
Yeah.
And so I literally gave everything to them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's really rad. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, right? You know, it's cool to see kind of how things are coming together, and how this is bringing people together. And so it's honestly, it's like it's overwhelming to think about donation centers running out of room because you know those of us who can have stepped up,
Right.
and we're taking care of our neighbors and our friends and our families and everybody who's lost homes. You know, I mean, Altadena is basically gone.
Yeah.
And, that's where my girl is from. That's where she grew up. And so we know half a dozen to a dozen people already who, don't have a place to live anymore and are in need of that kind of support.
I think you said something on the key there too. People who can step up can, but I'm gonna say that if you feel as though you're not in a position to donate, which is okay, find time to volunteer your time and find time to go and handle bottles of water.
Yeah.
Like I don't want someone who's listening to feel a way that, oh, I can't donate because I myself have nothing, which is fine. But maybe you can be a listening ear for someone who lost everything. Or even maybe you can go and I don't know,
You could help with cleanup.
help with cleanup.
So they
know?
did. I saw that this morning in Pasadena.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of people helping with cleanup. So that's one thing that people can do. Now I was wondering because when it comes to cleanup, some of these houses still have part of the gas on.
Yeah.
You need those people, professionals there to shut that off, dig holes, shut that stuff off. So I kind of wonder what they're exactly cleaning up because you got to be careful with that too.
And I believe, and this is coming off of no research or anything like that, but I do believe that there are like coordinated cleanup efforts where the professionals will go in basically like one street at a time, and then the volunteers can go and do what they need to do safely.
Gotcha.
And kind of go through, see what potentially is salvageable, and start at least kind of the process towards building back what was. But it's going to be years before the effects of this are no longer being felt.
Right.
The amount of destruction, the amount of homes that have burned down, businesses that are gone, all of the things like that. I mean,
Whole cities are gone.
I can't think
It's
of
just-
how long it's going to take. The amount of construction, the amount of manpower, the amount of everything, that is going to have to be kind of laid down in order to rebuild. It's going to be staggering.
One thing that someone had posted because they wondered how many contractors are in California.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I guess we have the most in any state. So there's enough people here that are going to get a lot of work to rebuild. And they also did say that they're going to, instead of, having to apply for, what is it? You have to get approved and stuff like that. I think they're going to scrap all that.
They're going to cut some of the red tape.
They're going to cut some of that.
But do your research on that because, that comes into politics and that's the type of change. But I would say just keep an eye on the policies. I do think it's kind of weird. Like I said, I'm not fully understanding, but it seems like a lot of insurance companies pulled the fire insurance part of the insurance for a lot of homes prior to this happening.
4 months ago.
4 months ago?
Yeah.
So they must have some type of data. So I think that's insane. I think that needs to be looked into. I think they are looking into it. The federal government.
And I think also because they did have someone speaking who was part of the insurance, the bigwigs of the insurance companies, I guess, not the one specific one, and did say that there's a lot of people who didn't have homeowners insurance.
Oof.
They're going to be helped too. They
Nice.
said everyone is going to be helped.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, when they pull the fire, I mean, everyone needs the help regardless, because the people who had their fire insurance pulled 4 months ago, or the people who didn't even have insurance, they said the insurance companies will have to chip in.
Okay.
So they said it'll happen. They'll make sure that everyone gets it, and they're not going to wait for permits. That's what I was talking about. Permits.
Yeah.
They're going to get things going right away. As soon as they can start cleaning this stuff out after next week, where the winds will hopefully be gone for good, they can start cleaning out and then start the rebuild.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just going to be a long, long road. And now you got these landlords that are price gouging,
Yeah, getting
which is
ready to
illegal
raise
to
rent.
do in California. You can't do it with after disaster.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So people are posting in their stories with the realtor and flashing.
Yeah.
You know, of like, because you'll see what the rent was in December.
And what it is now.
So, and these are still very high. These are for, you know, people that can afford, obviously, these places. But one in particular was $7,600 in December. And it dropped down to $7,400 last week. Now it's up to $7,900 today.
Wow.
So, you know.
Yeah, no, it'll. I think it'll be, you know, it's one hell of a start to the year to have, you know, all of this going on, and it'll be fascinating to see how kind of Los Angeles copes, recovers, deals with, you know, in both good and bad ways, like with rents or with like permits and cutting red tape, or, you know, anything under the sun like that. I think, yeah, we're in for a very interesting year.
And we have to, you know, and hope that this is the end of it. Like I said, Monday and Tuesday, the high winds again.
They roll right back
and
in.
it's supposed to hit Orange County, San Diego, the IE.
Yeah.
So now it's like, that's a whole another thing here. So I don't, I'm hoping by the time we do our next pod that nothing happened. They're prepared because, dude, these people are getting drilled. Like, they're like, are you prepared now? You saw what happened. Do you have resources out there in the IE, in Orange County, San Diego right now?
Have to go kit,
to dig in stuff, like making sure.
Getting ready, yeah.
And they said, And they said, well, why didn't you have it before? You knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you didn't. You know, why didn't you shut the power off in Malibu?
Yeah.
I guess in Malibu, they're talking to a Malibu resident who says every time there's high winds lasting longer than 15 minutes, the power automatically gets shut off.
I mean,
It's a common thing in Malibu, I guess.
Okay.
This time, it did not, 80-mile-an-hour winds and did not get cut off.
I think that the issue is that is like sometimes as a society, we're not proactive and we're reactive.
Definitely.
So the only way to be prepared for things is you have to be proactive. Even there was a woman, she stopped Gavin Newsom.
Oh, yeah.
And she was just
She's
like,
a lawyer.
why didn't we have the fire hydrants? Why don't we have enough fire hydrants? And you got to think, that's a good question, but that goes back to when the city was planned, however many years ago they built the Palisades or built that area. There should have been fire hydrants on every other corner or however they're built. Like I said, 1, I'm not a firefighter. 2, I know nothing about fire hydrants. But 3, what I do know is that there wasn't enough fire hydrants and there wasn't enough pressure.
Well, there's no water in the reservoir.
Yeah.
There's no water in the reservoir in the Palisades to begin with.
Yeah.
Trump told Newsom in 2019, there's a video of him saying, you need to make sure that you have enough water because LA is a fire zone. But Newsom wanted to spend the money on saving a fish or something like that. The smelt fish or something like that.
Maybe, but then Newsman said that wasn't true. But
No,
Google that and do your own research because honestly, I
It's
don't.
on there, but
I don't know.
We're not the experts.
Not the experts.
I'm not the expert, but
I'm not expert
I have
at
my
all.
opinion.
You have your opinion, exactly. So we're getting around that time.
Okay.
So we're gonna let we've decided that going forward in the future, we're gonna have Grayson close it out. Unless I have something to say, but we're gonna let Grayson close this one out. But I will say, this episode will be definitely Pray for LA, episode 000 for season 2. But take us home, G.
Little emergency pod, basically.
Take us home,
for this
G.
Week. I mean, it kind of, I can't help but think about the fires and whatnot. And, all three of us talked about places that we've, donated to or things that we've been trying to do to help. And really, I think that's all that we can do right now. And I think that you had said something really nice where you have to be proactive and not reactive. And I think this kind of help and this kind of support can continue in a proactive way, wherever you might be, wherever we are, whether there's fires, whether there's not, volunteering your time, donating, kind of doing things I think to help the greater good, just helps the world grow in the right direction. And so, I would implore everybody that listens to this. I know the three of us, do what we can, and we'll continue to do so. But make a positive impact in your neighborhood, in your city, in your area, for whatever you can do to help out. I think that just makes the world a better place. And ultimately, that's what it's about.
All right.
Like, follow, subscribe, comment.